off by stating that I had not had a normal college experience. And then I laughed because I realized after the shooting, the fire, the floods, the mudslides, and a little thing called the coronavirus that postponed our graduation until now, none of us have had a normal college experience. But I still think mine was slightly different, and there are 4 lessons I want you to take away from all of this. And I'm going to name them now and then come back to them later. Lesson 1. Everything happens for a reason, and timing is everything. Lesson 2. Be patient, kind, and forgiving with yourself. Lesson 3. Sometimes it's okay to think with your heart instead of your head. And finally, lesson 4. Things won't always go according to plan, but you are stronger than you know, and in the end, you will find where you belong. So how is my college experience so different from everyone else's? Well, funny story, I left Pepperdine not once, not twice, but 3 times. The first time I left was just 1 semester into my freshman year. I had never been away from home before, so I felt incredibly homesick and depressed. I didn't really have any friends here yet, and I didn't feel like I belonged. I come from a single mother of 4 who was a teacher, so money was always tight. And you can imagine how I bought into the stereotype that all the Pepperdine students here are rich, and then here I was, having almost all of my tuition fully covered by scholarships, thinking there was no way anyone here could possibly understand me. So I left. I went back home to Texas and I did community college for 1.5 years. After 3 semesters, I decided it was time to return to Pepperdine. Everyone always asked me why I decided to return, and I never have a good answer other than it just felt like the right time now. This brings me back to the first 2 lessons I mentioned earlier. Everything happens for a reason, and timing is everything. You must be patient, kind, and forgiving with yourself. Leaving Pepperdine was very hard. I felt a great deal of shame not placed on me by anyone other than myself. How could I have left such a prestigious university for community college? I also kept wondering what would have happened if I had just sucked it up and stayed for the spring semester. This is when I have to remind myself that the events that took place when I was away from Pepperdine needed to happen. When I went home for that 1.5 years, I was able to be there for someone very important to me and helping them with their recovery after a suicide attempt. I also found and adopted our 2 new kitties, learned to drive, bought my first car, and saved up thousands of dollars. I got a chance to go to college with my high school best friend, and I grew as a person, strengthening my own mental health and figuring out what I wanted in life. None of this would have happened had I not gone home. And when the timing was right, I returned to Pepperdine. The first year back was good. I still struggled some, but I had 2 amazing roommates, both of whom were international students. Karina was from Lebanon and Amani was from South Africa. This came in handy because I told them if I ever complained about being homesick for them to slap me, because at least I wasn't on an entirely different continent. My second year back was the greatest year of my life. In the school year of 2018-2019, I roomed with my best friend Brittany and our other friends Ozzy and Sydney. I also joined this little thing we do at Pep called Songfest and became a part of a special group called GGS. However, this year wasn't all it was cracked up to be either. You see, all of my roommates, along with most of my other friends, were seniors, so they were all going to be graduating. This made me want to graduate too. I only needed 18 more hours from any random class since everything on my DAR was completed. So I decided to appeal to get 21 hours I did in community college to count so that I could graduate on time too. I thought this plan was a sure thing because it said on my transcript that these classes were all equivalent to courses here at Pepperdine, and the only reason they didn't count them was because you can only have 12 hours from another college after you're already enrolled. Obviously, the appeal didn't work. I was devastated. But coming back to everything happens for a reason, exactly 1 week after being denied my graduation is when I joined GGS and Songfest and developed friendships that made me never want to leave college. But as I mentioned earlier, I left Pepperdine not once, not twice, but 3 times. So the second time I left Pepperdine was actually for a good reason. After my appeal was denied, I began to get big ideas about how I could save money. I decided to take 18 hours of summer school that summer so that I would only need 12 hours left to graduate, and I could skip a whole year and finish college in the summer, thereby saving thousands on housing. Because if you didn't know, you can technically still graduate needing 12 hours if you finish in the summer, and summer housing is way cheaper. This meant I would be taking a year off of college and would need something to do. So I did the most logical thing I could think of, and I got an internship with Disney in Florida. However, after I made this decision, I was crying all the time because I didn't want to leave the new friends I had made in Songfest. So, after a few months of despair, I decided in July that I would only take one semester off instead of two, and that I would return to Pepperdine early for my internship so that I could have one final semester with my friends and do one last Songfest. This brings me back to lesson number 3. Sometimes it's okay to think with your heart instead of your head. I'm a very logical person. I always think with my head. And logically, it made more sense for me to finish up my college career in summer school because I would save a bunch of money. However, this made me miserable. And when I decided to think with my heart instead of my head and return to school early, I felt an instant wave of peace that was worth more than all the money in the world. There will be times in your life where you will have to decide between your heart and head. I'm here to tell you that sometimes it's okay to listen to your heart, even if it's scary. So now we arrived to the third time I left Pepperdine, which is actually the time we all left Pepperdine. I had been back on campus for 7 weeks when everything went down. Songfest was just 1 week away, and our rehearsals had been so fun. Our show was looking so good, and my friends and I had so many plans for how we wanted to spend the rest of the semester together. Life was good, and I was so happy with my decision to come back early. But then COVID-19 happened. This brings me back to lesson number 4. Things won't always go according to plan, but you are stronger than you know, and in the end, you will find where you belong. Obviously, none of us could have imagined having our senior year be cut 8 weeks short, only getting 5 days to say goodbye to everyone we love, and then having to leave our home here at PEP knowing we would never live here again. But it happened. And I am so proud of everyone here today. You are all so strong. We did it. We made it through, and now we get to be here together again for one final epic moment. In the end, I found where I belonged. And I know no matter where I go, Pepperdine will always have a piece of my heart. Congratulations, class of 2020. I love you all, and I'm so excited for what is in store for each and every one of you. May these lessons help you along the way as we navigate the real world. Thank you.